Here we go. Hello there, amazing transformational author community here on Facebook. I am so excited that I'm doing these interviews. If you were here last week, you saw the amazing interview I did with Lilia Shoshana Ray. And today I'm very excited that I have with me here Eileen Anumani Santos. And she's been a client for a while. She's the author of this amazing book called Unmasking Your Soul. And she's had a phenomenal journey in writing her book and impacting a lot of lives, really beginning with her own. So welcome, Anumani. I'm so excited that you're here and we get to do this.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, well, you have such an incredible journey with, feeling this book inside of you and really diving deep into the process of birth. I mean, how many pages are we at here? It's like 400 something, close to 400. I mean, it's a book, everyone. If you can see this, how thick it is, how, robust. Well, that page was in between chapters. But, I mean, this is a robust book that you wrote. So would you just start by sharing a little bit about how the inspiration, this feeling came to you? Like, how did you know that you were here to actually write and share this wisdom?
So I'll share a couple things. So one, I was actually taking a meditation class many years ago, and someone came up to me and said, "Do you know you're meant to write many books?" And I kind of looked at her and I said, I've felt that, but I wasn't sure where to start. And then a couple of years later, I was sitting in front of my computer watching Speak and Write to Make Millions with Lisa Nichols. And you came on stage and you were telling your story. And I remember that I immediately felt a connection to you. I knew that I couldn't do this by myself. I had tried. In fact, I had tried writing another book. It was called My Journey in Puzzle Pieces, which I have a painting by that name. And I got maybe through 20 pages, and then I couldn't write anymore. And so when I saw you on stage, and I felt that connection, and I always listen to the guidance that I get, I felt that you were the one to help me through the process. So I signed up for I think it was the 6-month Get Your Book Done program. And from there, I started following the process that you give in the Get Your Book Done program. And it was very transformational for me. The book took about 15 months to write, and I would write and then listen to my guidance and kind of put it to the side. And every word was so heartfelt. The stories that were coming through to be included, just all matching what I was meant to teach. And this book, for me, was a complete download. So I first received symbols and I drew them down on a piece of paper. I didn't know where they went or where they were going, but I knew that they were connected to the book in some way. And over time, I kept getting more information of how the book needed to be structured, and then working with your system to kind of create the outline for the book, which was extremely helpful for me. I think that was part of where I was getting stuck, like, where do I start? And so a lot of the techniques that you bring forward in the Get Your Book Done program was really helpful for me to experience that, but also the support of the group and being able to ask questions, getting feedback on my book title and all those things that we all struggle with as we're writing. For me, this was my first book, and it's a trilogy. So I was a little surprised how big it turned out to be. I think it's like 160,000 words.
I'll see here, like right on the cover, book 1, now book 2, and at least on paper, but like this here, this amazing body of work, book 1. So there's a lot more to come from Anumani for sure.
So I'm very grateful to you and what you've created, because without it, I wouldn't have been able to write this book. And it was a process of transformation, not just writing, but then I went to several of your writing retreats and there was more transformation. In fact, I think there's quite a few stories in the book of the transformations that I received as I participated in our retreats, which many times were a lot more about the transformation than the actual writing. The writing went together with that, but it was the shifting of you creating the space for us as authors to be seen and to be heard.
So can I ask, like, if you were going to paint, because we have a lot of people out there, I'm sure, Jessica saying hello, Jessica.
Hey, Jessica.
You know, a lot of you out there, it's like you're in the before stage, right? You're not yet published. You can't yet say, I am the author of, and there is a transformational journey, at least how I do it. I mean, we know there's people out there who will just push you to write and call it done. I'd rather have you really do the deep dive and have the transformation for yourself that helps you create your most powerful and impactful book. So Anumani, kind of, you know, one of the things I wanted to touch on today is how to impact more lives as an author. But I know in your experience and most of the people I work with, that impact, that transformation that happens for you first. Paint like a little bit of, you know, who you were before when you were just getting started, a little unsure, and how you transformed and, you know, who you stepped into embodying and being now on the other side of that journey.
Sure, I'd love to. So for me, I think coming into your Get Your Book Done, and then I was in your Master Heart program, which was amazingly transformational for me. I was a person that was afraid of being seen. And I remember when I was at your retreat in Baltimore and I had filled out the application for Master Heart and I immediately got scared. And when I meditated around it, it wasn't about joining the program per se. It was like, oh my God, I'm actually going to be seen because I'm going to be published after this. So that was one of the biggest roadblocks for me. Because when we're afraid of being seen, right, energetically, that holds us back from taking the action that the universe is bringing to us to step into. And as I went through Master Heart and Get Your Book Done and all the retreats that I attended, I began to allow myself to be seen. And you created a safe space for me to do that. And it's interesting because I began to discover gifts that I didn't know I even had, right? So the channeling part of my gifts, and really my voice has been one of the areas that I have feared the most. And I believe that our greatest gifts comes from our greatest fear. So working with you helped me find my voice, reclaim my power, right? Part of the stories I tell in my book are about all the times I gave away my power. Right? And yet here I was to be a healer. And there was some shame associated with like, how am I here to help people when I'm going through this stuff myself? But the truth is you have to go through it, right? In order to be able to help people go through it themselves. Yeah. So on the other side of this, I feel like I've embodied the words that I've written in this book. It starts with divine love and it ends with divine Christ consciousness. And there's many layers of that, but working with you and all the programs that I participated in helps me find love again within me. And that was something that before I was searching for the love outside of me, and the
You're making me
process,
cry,
yeah,
Anumani. I love you so
the
much.
process of this book was just amazingly transformational for me. And I am so grateful to you and all the people that were part of those retreats, because without that community support and that sisterhood and brotherhood, I wouldn't have made it through. I mean, there were days where I would, text my friend, like, I can't write this chapter, like, help, right? And I was getting texts back like, you can do it, it's going to be okay. And so I would just sit with it and then find the space to start writing again. And that's how I wrote this book,
I just I don't know if you can see me from where you're sitting on your computer, but I've been here as you've been talking just because I remember you before, and just hearing you speak now and hearing you know you're speaking the truth when you're saying, I am the embodiment of my message. And it's just so heartwarming and so touching and also so humbling to know, that a space that I created for you allowed for the birth of this amazing, embodied, powerful, galactic goddess healer on the planet. It's just, I was a little overwhelmed. Just my heart just overflowed when you were just speaking.
Thank you. And I felt that as well. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. Oh, and Danielle, I think, or Camille was just saying, Eileen has moved me too. Mm-hmm. Yes. So I do have another question that I want to ask you, because I kind of want to loop it back to the Jessicas and the Camilles and everyone else who's watching it live or who will be watching via recording. But I'm just going to show again Anumani's book here, Unmasking Your Soul. It is available on Amazon. You can get it in print as I have. You can grab it on Kindle. But it is called Unmasking Your Soul. And for those of you who feel like it might be time for a little bit of unmasking of your soul, this is the book for you. It will take some time to get through. It's not a quick read, but it will impact your life. So actually I have two questions for you, Anumani. And the first one is, how is it for you now as a published author, getting the feedback from your readers and the people who have gone through what you teach, all these chambers of the heart? What's it like for you? Just oh my gosh, you're impacting lives with your book now. You might not even know some of the people whose lives are changing. So how is that for you? What's it like?
All I can say is it makes my heart sing. I've heard different things. One woman who actually works for my acupuncturist, she bought my book. And one day I walked in and she said that she had a spontaneous healing from just reading some of the words. And it was the chapter on compassion and forgiveness, which I think actually is the first chapter, chapter 2. People are telling me that they feel energy from the book. And I know that I'm just the vessel. I was just the one bringing through the words. I'm here to help, women and men, to empower them to be who they were born to be. That was part of my understanding in working with you, that I got more clarity on why I'm really here. And this book is kind of the divine curriculum, right, that I've been given to help people do that as they go through these different chambers, they can really embody who they are, right, and be who they are, and not have to listen to society the way I did, right, trying to please everyone and believing I had to be a certain way instead of just being me. Right. And that's what I can say, that now I'm being more of me.
And as a result, you're helping your readers be more of them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hear it all the time of people telling me how they're finding the courage to do things, and also resonating with the stories, like, oh, you went through that, so you understand what I'm going through.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing when you start getting that feedback and you hear people telling you, spontaneous healing, of the courage to take an action that they hadn't had before, or just, as you talked about in your own journey, the depth of, love that you have found within yourself. I mean, this, and I think I might have said this when I interviewed Lilia last week, but this world we're living in is in need of healing. And it happens one person at a time. And as you were talking, Anumani, I couldn't help but imagine, it's like, your ripples. It's like, I get to you, and then people like you get to impact yet more people. And then there's even more people that your readers will then impact as a result of what they receive from this. It's just, it's awesome to know that in a world that sometimes appears a little bit wacky, you're bringing healing out there in the world. It's awesome.
Yes.
So, for our people, there's Beth Allen saying hello. Hey, Beth Allen. Fun to have you here. Hey, I need to interview you too, Beth Allen. Can you shoot me a Facebook IM and we'll chat about your book on one of these lives coming up? That would be fun. Okay, so for the people, unlike Beth Allen, who don't yet have their books done, or are in the process of publishing or even promoting the book, if you could sort of extract or encapsulate your greatest wisdom nuggets or your greatest advice for people watching, what do you want to tell them about this journey of on the pages of a book?
That if they're feeling the slightest inkling that they need to write a book, to take that first action. It could be emailing someone on your team to ask questions, but to just take that small action. I believe that when we take those small actions, we're saying yes to the universe, and then the universe is going to help us take another action. And that action turns into more action. And that's how I was able to write my book, really trusting that urge and that feeling that I knew I needed to get this message out to the world, that this book was part of me, part of what I was meant to teach, and that sometimes you're going to feel the fear, but you have to do it anyway. And once you take that step and you step over the threshold, and you helped me do that many times.
With great joy and pleasure, my dear.
Once
honestly,
you take that step into fear, it's you then get the next action, and it's like you start creating this momentum, and the universe meets you there, and you look back and you go, "Oh my God, I just finished my book," right? And then you're going to have the community to support you, and that's what you bring with your programs. You bring that transformation, that shifting, the technical piece of the writing, but also then the community that supports you in all of that. And we all need community. It gives us the courage to take the actions we need to take.
Yes. So feel the fear, but do it anyway. And don't wait to see the entire plan. I forget. Right. There's a famous quote someone says, it's like, if you wait to take the first step until you see the entire thing, you'll never do anything. But if you take the first step, the second step appears. And with the second step, the third step appears. And it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable every single day because I don't know what tomorrow or the next day. I know today, right now, this is the action I'm supposed to be doing, is sharing this inspiration with you and, featuring some of my amazing clients to help boost you in regards to your own book. And next steps are always revealed. So
that's right.
grateful that you shared that, my dear. So anything else in closing? I'll just remind people your book is available on Amazon, both print and Kindle. Unmasking Your Soul. That's the book, and that's the amazing author, Eileen Anumani Santos. Her name is, I'm trying to get your whole name up here. There it is. But it's also under her in the video.
I just want to share what Ishtar, the consciousness that I channel, always says, that you are love and you are loved. And I'm so grateful and honored to be here with you and everyone tuning in.
Thank you, my dear. I love you.
I love you too.
Grateful that you took the time today. And I trust that those of you who are watching live or recorded, you kind of got the wave and you got a little boost today to move forth in writing your transformational book. And of course, me and my team, we're here to help you. We've got everything under the sun, from the $37 ebook to the, tens of thousands of dollars private mentoring. I mean, we've got you covered no matter where you're at. So don't ever hesitate to reach out. If you feel like we could be of support, the best way to do that is just by emailing info@christinekloser.com. So that's it for today, everyone. Thanks for being here in the community. And thank you again, Anumani, for your time. And happy writing, everybody. Bye for now.